This is Why My Business Works, a space for creative business owners to reflect on the choices, instincts, and quiet pivots that make their work their own and the magic that makes them tick. I'm Megan Dolly, strategist, CFO, and hostess. Today's guest is someone who shows what it looks like to build a career and life with intention and heart. Emma Greenberg is an architect, entrepreneur, and community builder who balances professional ambition with motherhood. From launching her business to creating a support group for moms in architecture to even volunteering with the AIA and women's design organizations, Emma has taken an active role in shaping the profession she loves. She's generous with her time, empathetic with her perspective, and deeply committed to building networks that make life and work easier for others. In this conversation, Emma shares what it means to navigate career, family, and boundaries in a season that's both demanding and full of possibility. Welcome, Emma.
Hey, thanks for having me, Megan.
I am thrilled that you are willing to do crazy things with me.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm really excited.
I have a few starter questions to get the statistics. So if people are like, oh, that's how I do it too, or I didn't consider it. How many projects can you handle at a time?
Currently, I'm working part-time, so probably 2 to 3 projects at a time. I think that could change, but that's what I'm targeting right now.
Okay. And what is your niche? Who do you work with?
I'm an architect and I support other architects in their work. I focus on residential, mostly single-family homes and ADUs. Open to working with homeowners on their projects for their homes or ADUs.
All right. Do you like the ADUs?
I think it's a great tool. In California, you're allowed to build an ADU, and most people don't have huge homes. So it's a way to get more space, a home office, rental income, or maybe if you're multi-generational, it's a way to improve your property.
How long have you been in business?
I started my firm in 2018. So 7 years.
Okay. Including you. Who supports you in terms of employees or contractors?
I'm doing the work right now and use systems like QuickBooks. I have someone who prepares my taxes. Right now, I'm keeping pretty lean.
When you and I talked, I find it very interesting you've designed this business for where you're at in life right now. But at the same time, you're still active in the professional organizations that support architects. You're active with women's groups and have a 1-year-old at home, even when you're working part-time. I'm questioning if it's really part-time.
Well, yeah, I think what you're saying is when you have a little baby, it's like that's a full-time. I started my career in New York City as an architect after grad school, and I worked for small firms on residential and commercial projects. And because it was small firms, I kind of had my hands in a lot of different pots. Like I was architect, but I was also doing interior design and working firsthand with the clients. I got a lot of great experience. I got my license in New York and I went off my own and started to do my own projects. And, that's when I created my own firm, primarily supporting other architects. In 2023, we moved to California. I got licensed here and started my business in California. I really kind of had to be more proactive because when you open your business, you're like, okay, nobody's calling me. It's different than being an employee and doing your job and having to gain business. Once I started my business in 2018, I had to become proactive and reaching out to people for Zoom coffee dates and all those things. And so I think it's just become like this muscle. When I moved to California, I knew that I'd worked in New York for 10 years. So I'd created a network of people, other architects, contractors, engineers, interior designers, but I didn't know many people here. So I joined the AIA, my local A San Mateo, and then also the OWADP. It's a women's group for architects and design professionals that was started in the 70s during the feminist movement. I joined both of these groups because I knew that in order to work locally, which is what I wanted to do, I didn't want to just keep on having jobs in New York. I wanted to learn about building in California, that the best way would be to meet people previously, when I'm part of the AIA, it hasn't really been as effective to just go to events because then you don't really get to know people. I started volunteering for both of them. On the OWA, I joined the steering committee, and then for the AIA, I joined the co-committee and became part of the board. To get to know, you wouldn't approach a networking event. It's better for me to volunteer because I have my daughter and I am working part-time. It's more crucial for me to have more options to kind of be able to pick what kind of work I want to do. I think back of like that time when I started my business and I'm like sitting there staring, like, why isn't anybody calling me? Like, I feel like that's like a worse feeling than putting in work by volunteering. Then you have more options. I joined Andre Architect because I was feeling overwhelmed and I needed accountability so that I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I need to open a bank account and then not do it or something, you know? So there's a mastermind and it meets once a week and then coaching sessions. So of course I went to your coaching session and, you know, I think I spent like an hour on your call, like less. And it was like teaching you how to use the spreadsheet of how to basically figure out what your income's going to be. And I was like, learned so much. So I do have less time. But I went to that session, paid attention, and learned a lot. That's been another big thing that's helped me because, of course, as a business owner, you're the one who's kind of having to have the discipline, like send out the invoices and get business and be professional. Entre Architect has been a big help. I appreciated your sessions about, you know, looking at your spreadsheet and you said like play in the sandbox, like you get to, you know, kind of play with like, what would I charge and how many hours could I work and expenses, all these factors. What are you taking home? Things like that would have been overwhelming, but joining something like Andre Architect for business owners helps.
So you're good at connecting with people. And I'm not talking like the cold calling, stuff like that. I'm talking like making a decision and going out and intentionally spending your time with a certain group of people that have a common purpose.
I am very social as a business owner. You know, you are by yourself. So it's nice to be around other people and you have to be intentional about it. It's not like you get up and go to work and see your coworkers. You have to decide to join an organization and then go to a tour or something and talk to people. I think it is like you said, I am intentional because when you have a child, you know, you have your job, but then you also have other responsibilities. My time is limited. So, you know, I have to be targeted. Like if I want to work locally and meet architects in the area, I need to go to things where I'll meet other people. Having a kid, you have a lot less time, but then you also can't waste time because you're like, I only have this many hours that she's in daycare and like this many hours if I want to sleep this many hours.
When last we spoke, you had this great quote. If I'm taking time away from my daughter, it has to be worth it.
That's true. I feel lucky that I find my work interesting and fascinating. It needs to be meaningful and useful to me and my career. I did take a pause after I had my daughter, but getting back to work and talking to different people about different opportunities, it felt important to me to take on projects that I felt were really interesting and would help my career rather than just,
Fill the time and write the check.
I think that is part of having options and being able to pick and choose what you want to be working on for sure.
So I'm going to ask two questions at once. This one might
Mhm.
inform the other. What are you excited about? What are you worried about future wise?
I'm excited about what I'm working on right now. Single family homes and ADUs locally. What else am I excited about? Just to keep growing my business. Another thing I'm excited about is I started a group through OWA that it's a mom support group. We meet once a month to talk about what we're working on, help each other professionally, but also like a space where you feel open talking about maybe challenges you're having. Like if you are having questions about daycare. One person joined who was about to have a baby. We were talking to her about our experiences. I'm going to try to make it more lighthearted, like share something fun you did with your kids this summer. If anybody's interested, they can reach out to me. I think that will be a good resource. What am I worried about? Just keep on making my business better and working on my business. I think, putting more time into the business is what I need to do.
What does that mean when you say have more time in the business? Is there a specific activity you're thinking about?
I think marketing, getting that up and running, the structural part of my business, rather than just the work of architecture. That's what I have Andre Architect for, to keep me accountable.
It's a great group.
In the mastermind, you share something good and there's something you're worried about. Making sure I'm putting time into marketing or finalizing my website, all for sure.
Do you like when you're working on a project, is there a part you love in particular?
I really enjoy the finishes aspect. That's more interior design, picking out finishes, and the beginning part, talking to the client and figuring out a scheme. Also at the end when they move in and you see the living room, kitchen, flow, storage, everything. I think that's really rewarding after all that work. I enjoy learning about all of the codes and everything that shapes the project. I find it's very rewarding. I'm sure with you too, it's like you're working with people and learning about their business. I feel lucky that it's so interesting.
And having you work part-time allowed you to spend special time with your daughter, right? I'll let you tell it.
A lot of people don't have kind of the flexibility that our field can allow. I'm able to spend time with my daughter during the week. A week ago, she walked. We were really waiting for it, and we were at the playground, and she stood up and did it. It felt like such a win, like, because I got to see it. It didn't happen at daycare. Times like that, it might be hard to kind of be balancing working and being with her, but then I get to do fun stuff like go to the park. When you do stuff with kids, you get to kind of enjoy too. Go to the library or just different adventures that we go on. Nothing too far, mostly the park and the library. But yeah, so I feel lucky. I have considered kind of going back and forth. Do I want to just be full time? Do I want to be part time? So I feel lucky I can experiment. The more time I have to work, the more work I could take on. But then less time I have with my daughter and more childcare. It's a push and pull.
So you're finding not that much or not that little. Somewhere you get to almost bounce between these buffers.
The first year she was born, I wasn't working. I was with her, so that was special, but I did really want to get back to work. And I was able to have family support watching her while I was looking for work. Working is almost easier than being with her. Being with her is physically demanding, running after her. And then, just being able to go back to life before being a mom feels kind of nice. I feel lucky I get to do both. I'm not saying everybody should do whatever works for them and their family, but it's working for me now. I don't have advice for anybody.
Exactly.
Just figure out what's good for you and your support system. This is what's good now.
I like it. Is there anything differently in the way you approach a project or do your marketing?
Yeah. When I started my business in 2018, I leaned into social media. That was during COVID. I created my own Instagram and YouTube channel targeting the end user, showing what I've learned as an architect and building, but then also showing more accessible things like you can organize your house, you can buy furniture or window coverings and that change how you feel about a space or how it functions. So there's different price points, and then trying to speak without archy speak, more like what someone would understand or care about. Like, yes, this would save you money, this would save you time. It's not just about design ideas. I really leaned into that during the pandemic. I've stepped back from that a little bit and gotten more to the volunteering side of things, like getting involved. And I think that was personal feeling of after the pandemic, I wanted to be more with people and less just speaking on my personal brand. But I know that personal brand is working for me almost like an asset. You invest in it, it grows, and maybe you don't have to do anything. Of course, it would grow faster if I was putting more into it, just like any asset. But maybe I don't want to be doing that right now. I think that works really well for me, even while I was taking time off or less able to be working when my daughter was really small. I was still getting inquiries because of that presence I put into before when I created my personal brand. That has been really great for me. And I definitely always feel the pull to put more into it. I try to be, obviously, when I do work with someone, very professional, keep communication great, and provide tables of what needs to be done. ChatGPT can help with making communication concise. I think those are some things that I try to do differently. One thing that's really amazing having your own business, of course, there's more responsibility. You have to bring the work in and do all this back end work, but you get to decide, I want to do it this way because it's more efficient and it's better for the client. To me, that feels empowering.
I love the involvement that are about people and community and having an effect on other people, right? There's so many things like I want to put out postcards, grasping at straws of how
Yes.
can the market see that I exist and the things that I do and I'm capable of doing them. Oftentimes the answer they don't want to hear is go take a tennis lesson, go find something joy doing with other people and do it. It's not looked at often because it's not flashy or sexy.
I agree. I think having a business doesn't thrive on day one. It does seem to be a long game, at least for myself. I think trying different things, maybe join a tennis club you love and make connections through that. Thinking long term, where do I want my career to go? I could make a bunch of postcards, but why don't I put my time into a few things like trying to build my LinkedIn, my Instagram, online presence, volunteering, and trying different things. If it doesn't work out, you can just abandon it. I'm always thinking, I should do this, I should do that. And, you have to do a lot of different things.
It's like the magic soup.
Yes.
And it looks like, I mean, you're picking the ones that you're actually enjoying.
Yes, that's big, that I enjoy it. Makes me feel energized. Like what you said, if I'm going to take time away from my daughter, say a Saturday morning, I go to a house tour. For me, that's fun. I get a break and I'm networking and being involved in a community. So it's all good on all fronts.
Love. Where'd your love of architecture come from? When did you first decide I'm going to be an architect?
So I grew up in a family of artists. My grandmother was a ceramicist. My mom is an artist. So art's always been in my life and background. I studied art history in college, but wanted to get back to the actual doing of art. I did a lot of that in high school, drawing and painting. I wanted a profession. I was good at math, so I went to architecture and grad school for that. Went to architecture school and then started working in New York City on fun projects like a fancy lawn Tribeca with different artisan stone layers and cabinet makers. It felt like that side of me that was artistic, forming space and getting to pick, wood or stone, but then also kind of like more social or more giving back and working in a team setting. So yeah, that's where it came from. I feel like I kind of stumbled into it. It's a really great career. I was in New York City. There's so much building there. And then I moved to California, still a lot of building here. I think I was more focused when I was in New York, maybe on the interior side of architecture. And now that I'm in California, it's more homes. People ask my favorite kind of architecture, but it's fun to learn different things. It worked out.
The long-term dream. What's in store for the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, I think growing my practice, maybe from supporting other architects to my own work more. And yeah, I always want to be working, kind of going back to that building passive streams like courses for homeowners. I'd like to grow, just getting better at my craft, more clients work.
That aura of possibility is a great way to stop. And if anybody meet you, work with you, or find out more about what you do well?
Sure. You can reach me by email. My email is emma.greenberg@gmail.com, and my Instagram. So that's Emma Greenberg Architect, and LinkedIn. So you can look me up on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. I love talking to people. Getting licensed and starting our business isn't easy. So I'm happy to connect people with resources that have helped me.
Thanks for listening to Why My Business Works. If something in this episode sparked a question, a feeling, or a quiet yes, hold on to it. You don't need permission to build your business your way. Trust what's already working. Until next time, I'm Megan Dowling, and I'm rooting for you.